Howdy folks, welcome to another episode of The Scientist Hay Farmer. Today we're going to be talking about hay dogs on your square baler. Blah, blah, blah. What they are, where they are, why you have them, how to check them, and then how to fix them or replace them if they need it. So let's get started. Your hay dog serves a very important purpose. Now, on this particular square baler, which is a New Holland 311, there are 3 on the top and 2 on the bottom. Let's see if I can show you one. There's one right there. There's a second one on the bottom. On the top, there's 1, there's 2, and there's a third one right there. So the purpose of those hay dogs is to maintain tension on your hay as it's being fed into the bale chamber from the plunger. Now, how the heck does that work? Well, let's slide in closer and check it out. So we're looking inside the bale chamber at this hay dog, and they're spring loaded, so every time the plunger slides forward to insert a new charge of hay into the bale chute, these are pushed down by the plunger.
Note the plunger itself doesn't actually hit the hay dogs. It's actually the charge of hay the plunger is pushing in that is forcing the hay dogs down. The plunger on the face has slots that actually slide over the hay dogs, and we will see how that works here in a minute.
And as soon as the plunger slides back, these immediately pop up again. So they go up and down like this every time the plunger slides forward and comes back. The reason these are here is because it prevents the hay from sliding back when the plunger goes back. So the hay gets stuck up on this and the ones on the top and keeps tension on the hay so it can remain under tension inside the bale chamber when it's being tied.
Here you can see the cutouts in the plunger sliding right over the hay dogs.
So the hay dogs have a pretty important purpose to keep your bales looking nice and to keep them tight. Now, if you're getting really loose, sloppy bales, then the first thing you want to do is check your hay dogs. Make sure they're actually there. When I first got this baler, it was completely missing the bottom 2 hay dogs. So you should have 2 here, like I said, and 3 up on top. So the first thing for the function is to just test all of them and make sure the springs are good. Fortunately, they are quite simple to replace. Now, it's important to know that on the top, you have one hay dog that is different than the others, and it's this guy here. He's got a little bit of a lighter spring, and the spring, you can see the legs of the spring go down against the floor of the case, whereas these springs here rest against a backstop. Now, it is not uncommon for these backstops to rust away or break away. And if you don't have that backstop, then your spring is not going to work. So, as has been done on this baler previously, if those backstops rust away or break away, you will need to weld a piece of some steel on there to provide that. Now, to remove the hay dogs, it's pretty simple. There's a little pin that pulls out right here, and then this entire larger pin just slides out. These also move up. These hay dogs here move up into this area when the plunger comes through. And so what I've done here is replace these 2 springs just out of an abundance of caution, because springs are cheap, and I did not do that one. If these springs are good, it allows the hay dog to release back down into there as soon as that plunger retracts and maintains the tension on your hay. Now, it's not super tricky to get the springs in. I don't actually remember how I did it, but I did not use any special tools. I do remember when I replaced these and pulled that out, that I just had to kind of put a little pry bar on that spring or something and bend it up a little bit so I could get that hay dog back in there. These are the hay dogs on the bottom. Again, they also have a backstop for those rear spring legs to rest against, like up top. And I've also got new springs on the bottom, new hay dogs as well. These springs also install the same way. There's that pin that goes through the center with a little cotter pin at the end. You pull that out and the whole assembly comes out. And then it's just a matter of getting enough tension relaxed on that spring so you can get the hay dog in there. And again, I don't remember how I did it, but it really wasn't too difficult. I know that's not helpful, but it was pretty intuitive when it comes down to it. There's also another important piece of anatomy to the hay dog, and that is called the stop. So the stop is held in place by this bolt here, and if I pull down on this, you can actually see it looks like a little yellow part. It looks like a little kind of triangular wedge that goes in there, and you want to make sure your stops are there so your hay dog doesn't fly too far up inside the bale chamber. That can cause issues with the plunger as well. So when you are inspecting your hay dogs, make sure to inspect those stops as well, and if they are broken or non-existent or rotted away, it's probably a good idea to replace those stops at the same time. So there you have it. That's what your hay dogs are. That's where they're located, and that's how they operate. That's how you inspect them, make sure they're working, and then that's how you replace them or the springs if that's required. If you've got an older baler and your hay dogs are still there, wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and replace your springs just to ensure they keep on working. If you like content like this, or maybe you're new to baling, be sure to check out some of my other videos too, because I've got a lot of videos on maintaining, how-tos on fixing and all that stuff, square balers and hay binds, as well as other things on teders and rakes as well. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and see you next time.